The African continent is becoming a global style icon, fusing international trend makers with its unique color and vibrancy that characterizes its people and cultures.
This year, Decorex SA brings home the impact of this colorful continent on the 2019 lifestyle trends at its second installation at the CTICC. Some of the features I'm really excited about at Decorex Cape Town this year is the Fabric Trend Bar, which is a curated display of colorful fabrics, locally designed, which really speaks to our theme Designing for Africa. I also love the Harvest Table Cafe, which is like a cafe, a glam cafe with international flair.
I'm really excited about how the decorators and designers have taken our theme, Designing for Africa Feels Like Home, and have showcased the unique, beautiful curation of Africa within these stands.
The In-Studio Trend Theatre by ABSA is an innovative showcase of the mutual influences of fashion, colour and decor. We are so excited to have ABSA on board and thrilled to see them at Decorex Cape Town.
I think the great thing about being at Decorex and correlating or adding the Africanacity theme to what's happening around us here is that if you think about Africanacity, it's all about what we as Africans do within our power to get things done. And if you look at the show and you look all around us, it's about people finding unique ways to make living simpler, easier, more innovative, more stylish. And it's just about getting things done that makes life a little bit more livable.
One of my favorite things about the African design trend that's happening at the moment is that it is such an honest design style.
So a lot of what you'll see in our In-Studio Trend Theatre this year is a range of speakers and people doing showcases that unpack that ecosystem for everybody. Like everything from insurance down to decor, to all the parties and the stakeholders that are involved in this interesting world of property and living.
As part of this feature, I'm highlighting the trends for 2020 and 2021, which is quite a way down the line. And it's the first trend presentation that I've done in 2 years. So it is a really thought-provoking talk, and the feedback from it already has been quite amazing.
Olympic Paints is our new exclusive paint partner for Decorex SA. Today I'm with Sanjay, who's going to tell us a little bit more about the product. Tell us, why is it important for you to partner with an exhibition like Decorex? And what do you love about Decorex Cape Town?
I think Decorex over the years have created such a platform that a brand like Olympic Paints fits perfectly in an environment like that. Because firstly, we're proudly South African, and I think we can contribute to the local environment. And as far as Cape Town Decorex is concerned, I think it's a whole new dimension.
In what ways has colour helped Africans express their diversity?
Well, if you look at colour in South Africa, for example, your rural areas where they have all these bright colours to express the culture. If you look at your modern areas where you got all your earthy colours, you look at the Burkap in the Cape, those bright colours. There's different cultures, but every culture is using colour to express themselves, and that is where paint comes into the picture.
The designer spotlight is on Cape Town's Danela Conti Bryant, whose signature stylish flair is fused together with her African design ethos. What was the inspiration behind this room setting, and what is the style?
The predominant inspiration was our Pantone color of the year, which is called Fire Coral. So you can see it in, all the contrasting wallpaper at the back, and then I've brought it through on details like the paintwork and on the floor. And I think that's really very important because we've got ocean problems, and that's why Pantone Fire Coral is there to remind us all that consciously we need to do a little bit more for the planet. So if we can subconsciously plant that into interiors, then by default we're sending a great message.
Please tell us how you've used colour, patterns and textures within this room setting.
So the main thing with texture is I've wanted to go for our African arts and crafts, and we are so strong with beadwork throughout South Africa and the African continent that I think that brings texture naturally to all South African interiors. Whether you put it onto a cushion, actually bead it onto a cushion, or whether it's sitting in something like a beautiful ornament on your coffee table. We've digitally photographed African beadwork, and we're printing that onto wallpaper, and we're printing it onto scatter cushions, and we're trying to create a brand of our own arts and crafts and iconize it.
The design and layout of a kitchen impact how we move around in the space and the functionality of the space. Today we have Klein Maharaj from the Studio Collection to tell us about the heart of the home. Take us through some of the features of the winning kitchen this year.
So the reason that CSMI absolutely wowed us was really their brilliant use of wrap more than absolutely anything else. They took something that's ordinarily quite a common material and they made it seem really premium and really, really slick, and they applied it in a contemporary finish. So if you look at those beautiful matte blue doors and how they really, really complement the overall contemporary design, they took something that was quite an ordinary material and they elevated it in a really clever way. And for us, that was a masterful use of finishes, and you know, that's very impressive for any kitchen designer.
What are some of the ways we can add character to a kitchen without using bold color?
So there's lots of interesting ways that you can actually add character to your kitchen and elevate the overall look of it. Accessorizing is really interesting, so using appliances in a clever way. And I think that's always an afterthought for people, you know. No one should ever underestimate how powerful a really beautiful hob, a really beautiful extractor, or a really beautiful coffee machine can actually even be inside a kitchen. And I think when people design it, they need to design their homes. They should think about all of that holistically and not just, you know, shove an appliance in as an afterthought, because that can really elevate the look of a kitchen.
At Decorex Cape Town, we've created a stand that's very interactive because we want to meet the consumer and the people who come to Decorex at their point of need. So we provided a whole lot of tools that make designing your kitchen and designing a really beautiful kitchen so much easier. We have a visualizer where you can anticipate what your kitchen's going to look like. You can put the colors in, you can change them, and you can even email it to yourself. We have all sorts of design applications, all our colors that are available, and samples and brochures, everything that you would need to design your kitchen. One particular aspect on the stand that really stands out is this custom sink that has been made of the same material, which is our beautiful X-Carver, and it really molds into the surface beautifully. It's quite a statement piece. And we were awarded by Decorex the best stand on the show, and we're delighted to receive that and very, very grateful.
Every year, Decorex assists visitors visualize ways to bring the current interior design trends into their own spaces. Here to help us draw from this year's theme, we have Albert and Lee from Sevens.
We were going for a very natural looking, bringing the outdoors, indoor style, very contemporary. We're also looking at bold colors, which would complement our natural furniture.
And I think what we tried to do is we tried to make each room individual. So although it was a complete house, we wanted each room to have its individuality and its own ambiance. I think one of the big things that this space speaks to the theme is the use of the proteas, being the African flower.
Yeah, and the sunburst mirrors that's actually made out of round pieces of wood also represents South Africa with the sun always coming up. We've got beautiful vases which are actually African inspired, so yeah.
As part of a diversely African nation, Mzansi's cities all express their Africanness in unique and beautiful ways. See what Johannesburg has to showcase at the last installation of Decorex 2019 from the 7th to the 11th of August at the Gallagher Convention Centre.